think it's fine.
jam.
It's natural,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
part.
yeah, 100%.
We obviously met through Arlen's group, Maxi, right,
Yeah.
in the community. I really like that group because I feel like I connected with someone else this morning there. I don't know if you saw like on my post.
Oh no,
Um,
I didn't. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and actually Arlen actually commented on my post like "Let's fucking go," which I thought was really cool.
Hell yeah.
Because it's just nice because I think it's like these communities with like-minded driven people, as cliche as it sounds. I genuinely think like there's a real value to it, not even just for the pure service and like offering, but actually the just the people you meet.
Yeah, the
um
community aspect of it, like those types of people you don't necessarily meet in your day-to-day life,
yeah,
especially as a younger person, I feel like.
yeah, for sure.
So I love those communities because you're able to network and get to know people
Mm,
that you otherwise wouldn't be able to, and just kind of expand your network and also realize like, hey, there are other young people that think the same way I do, which is
yeah,
really important, I think.
yeah, 100. I mean, look, you're based in Colorado, in
Yeah.
Boulder. I don't know anyone else there. I don't think like I've got no plan to go. Like there'd be no reason we would meet otherwise. So I think it's quite cool also because obviously in this day and age, like it really like brings people together. I guess that's kind of like the cool thing with Arlen's brand. Like he's done a really good job with the personal brand, and I'm trying to like
Yeah.
emulate because like just like the power of that in terms of like bringing like for example like we were brought together through him, like
Hmm.
and that's just us like it's such a like powerful thing to like become like part of a tribe and like build your personal brand.
Yeah.
Now obviously you've got like quite big goals for this year. 2024 goal is build wasn't 80, I've got it up here somewhere, 80K a month SaaS and consulting business, and I like this in less than 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
um, where did that number come from? And talk me through like the game plan.
Honestly, the number isn't as much important as what will happen based on having that number, like the
Mm,
actions that will happen because the number is that.
yeah.
Um,
So what will happen?
well, because for me and where I'm at currently, that is a big number.
Yeah.
Um, so because of that, and if I want to hit that goal and I take that seriously,
Yeah.
it's going to make me take bigger action. Say if I had a smaller goal,
Mm,
then my output to reach that would not be as big because the goal is smaller. And
mm,
then adding the constraint of 20 hours a week makes it so I'm just not, because I've done this in the past where I've just like worked nonstop, all the time, morning to night. And the thing about that, and I'm fine with working a lot, but the thing about that is that I find myself, when I have that much time, I find myself wasting time, and I'm
mm,
still working,
mm.
but I'm not doing the needle movers. And adding the constraint of 20 hours a week makes it so I'm spending my time on things that actually matter and things that actually move the business forward because I don't have, extra time,
Yeah.
if that
No,
makes sense.
I think you hit on two really interesting points there. Firstly, like I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something that's like I think it's like a classic Hormozy quote, but it's like kind of like the if you're like optimize, so you like 80K a month is was a million a year, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much. And so like you trying to optimize for that. For me, it's like I want to get a net worth of 10 million by 30. I'm 24, so
Yeah.
it's like with these like big because they are big goals. You've got to like reverse engineer it, and I think it actually makes you think in like a completely different way.
Yep.
So, like for me, I used to be in corporate, and like really great company, like nothing bad to say about the company, but like the goals were so much like it's, at least like let's say from a financial perspective, like the goal of like let's say like okay, I really want to get like a 20% raise, right? All my mental capacity, and that's like a good raise in the corporate world, right?
Hmm.
So my whole like mental capacity would be like, okay, what are the things that I need to do to get like a 20% raise, and like reverse engineering that and then trying to do all of those things. Whereas now I'm like, okay, firstly, let's like knock out the time horizon, at least for me,
Yeah.
because it kind of gives me like space and like I need leverage to get to that big goal. And then it's because I'm trying to like optimize for a different problem, like I'm going to go about it in a completely different way, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I've done, which is like
Yeah.
optimizing for like high leverage and like really doubling down on my skills right now. rather than like earning potential right now.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Now, the question I had for you though is because like, and obviously I don't know where you're at right now, but like 80K a year, a month is a lot. And then when you're
Yeah,
adding that time constraint, although I think that is, we can touch on that in a second. Have you ever had like the kind of feeling? Because I've definitely had this before, where I've been, especially earlier on, where it's like, oh, I want to make like £1 million this year, or like I want to make $5 million this year. If there's like, I feel like there's a fine balance between like having such a big goal that you actually kind of demotivate yourself in a sense.
totally,
Like,
completely.
holy
I
shit,
completely
I'm
agree.
never gonna do that. Where do I even start? Because we don't have like there's like the knowledge gap.
Yeah.
How did you kind of like reach this like what sounds like quite a nice sweet spot of like, okay, I think I can do it. It will be a stretch, and I really need to do this in a smart way.
Yeah.
What was your like thought process behind
I
that?
think it's having that goal, but also being detached from the goal, like the
Okay.
outcome of the goal.
Mm.
I think I'm more focused on using the goal to push me forward and creating leverage
Mm.
versus using the goal to like put all of my eggs in that basket and like have it be really riding on it mentally. I'm
Yeah.
using it more as just to push myself forward, if that makes sense.
I think that is like a good approach. That's like
Yeah.
the carrot. Do you do like a carrot and stick approach, or is it pure carrots?
What do
That
you
makes
mean by that? Just elaborate a little more so I understand.
sense. Sure. Like so, the whole like carrot and stick, it kind of like alludes to like when you're like training a donkey. Like you can train the donkey
Yeah,
with like
yeah,
hanging a carrot in front of their face, a carrot, or you can like hit them with a stick.
yeah,
So it's like I'm guessing like the million a year is like the carrot.
yeah,
Is there like something, maybe this is a bit deep, but is there something that's like
yeah.
you're
You know
kind of
what is actually the carrot for me, which is kind
like,
of interesting? It's the 20 hours a week.
really?
That's the carrot for me.
Mm,
Because the 80K a month, that sounds exciting, and I think it's actually very achievable. But what sounds more exciting to me is working 20 hours a week.
mm,
Because for a long time I've been working a lot more than that,
mm.
and kind of like they say you got to like put the time in, which you do. Like you have to learn the skills, you have to do the things, you have to kind of struggle, eat dirt, that kind of
Yeah,
thing. And I've been doing that, and I realized, hey, it's time to let go of that in some regard and create more leverage and build something that's more sustainable long term, like for not only the business but for life as
I
well.
think that's like a nice approach. Like that like holistic approach is really, and it's honestly it's something I struggle with. Like like at least where I am right now in my life, I'm much more on the like work focused. Like it's like 6:30 for me now, which is not even late, but like I'm much more on the like work focused season, let's say.
Yeah,
What? Because I'd actually be quite interested in learning. Like, what's your kind of like career or like journey so far?
yeah. So I've been kind of all over the map. Is you want to hear just career stuff?
Everything. Why not? We got.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll take it back just because I think it's important to the story. But grew up in Michigan, and went to high school there, graduated like a normal kid, ended up taking a gap year,
Yeah.
and decided to travel around the West, just backpacking, living out of a car,
Mm,
traveling to national parks and things like that. And then was supposed to go back to school, went back to school first semester, decided that's not for me, and then ended up moving to a ski town, being a ski bum for a little while, and just having a
nice.
lot of fun.
Where was
And
that? Sorry, I lost.
yeah, oh, it was amazing, man. But it kind of changed my life in the way that realizing the sort of lifestyle that I want.
Mm,
Like I want like fun and like fulfillment. And fulfillment to me is like spending time with the people that I love, like in the mountains and stuff like that,
yeah.
and skiing. And that's what it shifted my perspective of what type of life you can live.
Mm,
And it made me realize like that's really important to me, having work life balance. So then that's kind of what became the catalyst to, in 2016, 2017, I became obsessed with becoming an entrepreneur, because I'm
mm,
like, who has the most time? I'm looking around like, I don't think it's the corporate people. I don't think it's people with like a traditional job.
yeah.
When I look around, I'm like, it's the business owners, just people that own things,
Yeah.
they're investors and owners.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I become an investor or owner of a business or an asset?
Mm,
So that's what I became obsessed with in 2016, 2017. And ever since then, I've been kind of in work mode, learning work mode, trying things and just grinding. And I put all of those things that I love, the mountains, the skiing, and all that. I mean, I still did it a lot, but I kind of on the back burner. And
Mm.
I was just focused on gaining skills and getting experience and things like that. So yeah, I started an e-commerce brand way back in like 2017, which was a
Okay.
lot of fun doing drop shipping, like all
Nice.
outdoors clothes and gear and stuff like that. A lot of fun, learned a bunch, but ultimately decided that wasn't for me, and then started doing consulting and web design and things like that. And then in 2020, I think it was, I stumbled upon like AI and AI appointment setting, and that's kind of where I've been since. Of just and it's developed and evolved over time. But now,
Mm.
yeah, it's been doing AI appointment setting and consulting things like that.
Yeah, do you mind like walking me through like your AI appointment setting system and like your I guess your business right now? Because I think like the
Yeah,
audience would find that really useful.
yeah, for sure. So I work with mainly like smaller businesses, anywhere from like $1 to $4 million a year, typically. And yeah, usually they always have lead flow, and but the thing is, even if a company has leads, typically they have a hard time getting in touch with those leads, and even more importantly, they have a hard time converting those leads into booked appointments and book calls.
Yeah.
So I help them kind of bridge the gap of, you get an inbound lead, and then you have the AI actually book the appointment for you. And then in theory, you just show up to the call and close the deal and take from there. And so the AI can, do a lot of the legwork and the grunt work and to get that appointment set. So you're just taking qualified appointments.
Mm. But I feel like because that sounds like a really slick system, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming it didn't start like that. What
No,
what
it's
were the
evolved. It's
iterations? Yeah.
completely evolved. Now I have a whole formula of how all this all works together, and it's kind of rinse and repeat.
Mm.
And it works for most industries.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of industry agnostic right now. Like I can work with anybody in any industry. At least like I'll try it out and I'll see if it's not a good fit. Like I'm perfectly happy to say it's not a good fit. But there's kind of a formula and a system that is transferable to all these different industries because yeah, we've kind of cracked it now.
And like in terms of like how you cracked, because I find this really something that we do is actually really help people in finding their like current product market fit. How did you go about that? And like, what was it kind of like before and after? Uh,
Yeah. So I think I'm still finding product market fit. Like I think I'm always finding it because the thing about it, it'd be one thing if I stayed the same person,
yeah.
right? But I'm also changing through this process. So like my
Mm.
product market fit a year ago or 2 years ago was different because I'm different now. So like I want to
Mm.
work with
And the
different
offer is
people.
different too.
Yeah, then the offer's different, the product's different, the caliber of business is different. But I think the best way to start is or define product market fit. And I'm not an expert on this by any means, but I think it's to try things and definitely don't be the guy that is just thinking about it all the time. Like go try it and see what you like who you like working with and who you get the best results for.
Mm.
That's the best way to do it. And then from there you're going to learn a lot like hey, I like this, I don't like this, and this is who I want to work with more, this is who I don't want to work with, and you start realizing like where the value is.
Mm.
Yeah.
You and then I'm really interested because like I'll be like in the politest way. You don't have like the biggest personal brand, at
No,
least not on LinkedIn at all.
not at all.
So
No.
how do you get like all your appointments? Is that through your own
To be
sales?
honest, it's pretty funny, dude, because I have been completely word of mouth
Wow.
basically. Yeah. So I live off referrals and we have word of mouth. And I've been able to survive like that because the product is really good and we call it stick rate in the SaaS world, but
LTV. Yeah.
basically people stay for a long time. So that's why it's been working for me. Is because it's a recurring revenue model and people stay.
Hmm. Are you like now investing in your own personal brand, or is that you?
That's something in 2024 that I'm going to be doing. Yeah.
How are
So
you
putting out
planning?
content,
Yeah.
investing into relationships, which that's I've been doing for a long time, but and putting like these types of things like podcasts or you know just finding the leverage and putting myself out there on a bigger scale. I think.
Well, I think the cool thing with like a podcast or something like this is like we both get the leverage from our time. Um,
Yeah.
and so like we were going to have this conversation anyway, and it's really
Yeah.
interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but now we get to share maybe some nuggets of wisdom to more people, and both of us like grow our personal brand further, which um, I don't even think like I've been told, like I've heard, I saw somewhere it was like, oh, is it's like selfish to like focus on growing your personal brand? But I'd like to think of this perspective that if you've actually got like valuable content and you're genuinely trying to help people, which is exactly what you and I are trying to do,
Hmm.
then if anything, it's like the right, like it's selfish for us to keep this information to ourselves,
Yeah,
um, because we should want to help more people and let more people know about it.
definitely. I completely agree. I completely agree. And it kind of comes back to do these types of things that you need to have a little bit more space in your life, I feel like.
Yeah, that's
Especially to show up well and to show like to hold the space well. But that's been one thing in the past that I haven't had. I've been, kind of just working so much.
mm,
And that's part of the thing for this year is I'm trying to work less, but it creates space for things like this and space for creativity, space for personal brand. And from my frame, like I don't even really consider this work, you know what I mean? Because it's just fun.
no, neither. I put it.
Yeah,
I like calendar block everything, and
yeah,
I put things as different colors. And this I put this as social because I find
yeah.
it.
Same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I no, I because you might find this quite interesting. Like, so something that we've really distilled for our clients, and so sorry, because I help run two businesses. I should kind of preface this. So
Yeah.
one aspect is the SEO business, and that really targets people who are like all of our leads there are organic, and it's people saying, "Hey, I want to grow and I want to do it via SEO. Can you help me?" And
Hmm.
we have like a deliverables based framework that's either, well, there's two kind of offers there, but they're both like deliverables based. So there's no like retainer. Um, but then like what we kind of realized with that was, oh, um, we actually like, because I would speak to a lot of founders who were saying, who'd say something to me along the lines of, I want to grow and I think SEO is the right thing. But I'd actually say to them, hang on, like, no, like you are like quite a small, you're earlier on in your career or like, sorry, in your like business growth journey. It probably doesn't make the most sense in terms of your own return on investment to invest in SEO right now. Like, why don't you maybe invest in LinkedIn or like Google Ads or something that, or like maybe like AI appointment setting, right?
Hmm.
Something that kind of can give you a more, um, or like has like a shorter return on investment,
Yeah.
so to speak, or has like less of like a payout period. Um, and that kind of led us to this other business called B2B, which is really about and again, it's all surrounding leverage, so I think you'll love it. But it's helping businesses firstly find like the right product market fit, then
Hmm.
actually go to market, and we act as basically fractional CMOs,
Very cool.
and like growth consultants, so we can kind of put the whole picture together. My point being, though, something you might find quite interesting. So we do like a lot of so with our clients, we do like hour-long interviews, like um, but it's more it's not like it's not as free flowing, it's more like kind of like question based, and
Yeah.
we really do it once we found like a really good product market fit for them. We do it so we can in like a targeted way get them to like up talk and sell their business. But what's really cool from that, from like the leverage perspective, is they put in like we do all the research, we do like we know like how the LinkedIn algo works. We do the research, we put together the right questions. They can answer it quite easily within like an hour long interview, if that. Sometimes it's half an hour because these people are busy. And then we post everything for them. And so it's
Hmm.
again, it's that leverage. Like this CEO or whoever, like founder, gives input 1 hour of like talking, and the output is they get like a month or 2 months worth of content.
Yeah.
We can repurpose some of it as short, some as like medium form content. Then we can post that onto not just LinkedIn, because some people have audiences that kind of span across it. So maybe that's on X, maybe that's on YouTube, maybe that's Google with Google Ads. And then even like repurposing some of the content into maybe Reels. But I think not necessarily with us, but you should like, I'd really recommend looking into it because
Yeah. I love that.
you'd get like a good like return on investment for your time. And I'm going to put this out there. I think we should interview more like all in people.
Yeah.
We'll
I'd
get
love to, for sure. That sounds fascinating, though. I think that's what everybody wants because everybody sees this thing. Oh, we got to create content. You hear that everywhere. You got to create content. You got to build your personal brand. But helping people do that in a leveraged way is huge and so helpful for
it's the
people.
same as you, right? Like setting appointments. To be honest, we're looking at getting a new salesperson because we've got more appointments than we can handle, which is a great thing. But I watched like a YouTube video from Sam Ovens earlier today on my walk, and he was
Mhm.
saying like the first thing that they should tell you in business school, and I think this is so true, is all business is about solving hard problems.
Yeah.
Like that is literally lesson. And
So true.
I read economics and finance, and I got a
Yeah.
first class and like whoop de woo, but like they didn't really teach me that, which sounds so cliche. Like oh, this is what they don't want to tell you. But I did take some business modules, and really like that is like the like number one thing, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the value you can charge. And so for you, it's like it's fucking hard. Excuse my French. It's hard to book cold meetings. Like
Oh yeah, for sure.
easy. And so if you have like a way that's leveraged to do that for people, and then again for us, like because we don't just do the LinkedIn, we also do like we literally do like we do LinkedIn paid ads. We might do SEO for people. It really depends business to business, and we get them like help them with their PMF and just really help them scale. These are like hard problems that we're trying to solve. And
Yeah,
because of that, we can charge more,
definitely.
and then we can invest more because we've charged more into our own businesses, which means we can further improve our product, which means we
Yeah.
can get better results, which I think is really fun.
Oh,
Uh,
it's a flywheel. You
yeah.
have to charge. Like the more you charge, the better it is for you, but also the better it is for the clients because you're going to have better product, you're going to have better team, you're going to have better resources.
Mm.
So it's better for everybody.
I saw some, so this is unrelated to pricing, but I saw you've got like a school community. What is,
Yeah.
I'm going to plug you here, it's shameless.
Yeah, sure.
What is, talk to me, like, why should I join the school community?
Yeah, so this is kind of funny. It's just a place to connect with people. The one thing that I've kind of noticed about the online world and marketers and things like that is that it's kind of missing the deep connection.
Hmm.
And that's one thing I want to create with this school community is, our calls, like we go super deep and like I'm like legit just trying to help people. No like sales pitches, anything like that. Like, come on, tell me about your business and let's find the problems and let's find solutions and like, let's create them together.
Hmm.
So it's basically, as it stands now, it's like free consulting, but also just relationship building. And there's some badass people in that group. It's pretty small and tight knit, not really pushing it to grow it right now or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's more focused on having the right people in there.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
I think I'm sold. I want to join.
Yeah. Come on in, man. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely will. Is this from
Yeah.
because I saw Hormozy launched like or they bought school. Is this off the back of that or is it
This happened. I started this, I think, in December or
okay?
something like that. And so a little bit before, haven't been doing a crazy amount with it. I was doing weekly calls. Now I'm switching probably to more like a every so often call, like maybe once or twice a month,
Yeah.
or like a workshop type thing. Um, yeah, but it's a lot of fun. It's actually inspired by my mentor Blake Lagrange. I think I've told you about him before,
Hmm.
but he started this community on school called College, and it was one of the coolest places to hang out, and it was free. And then it actually brought me into his paid community too,
Hmm.
which has been life changing. But it's the same kind of idea. Like he comes on those college calls, even the free ones, and just provides massive value. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I think that's like the right approach to business in today's day and age. Like
Yeah.
I feel like maybe 20 years ago you could be like quite salesy and pushy and like pick up the phone and start that like
Yeah. Yeah.
you either die, like buy or die or whatever the mentality
Yeah.
was,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
whereas I think and I think I feel like consumers now, especially just with like not just the internet but like how well people understand the internet, is
Yeah.
people want to be informed. And so I think if you can like actively provide value and inform people, right, you're building that rapport and you're genuinely helping. It's like win-win scenarios
Yeah.
rather than this kind of like taker mentality, which I think is really, I think it's really positive that it's shifting in that way.
Oh, for sure. And it's a great way to connect with people and to build your own personal community. Also,
Mm.
if you meet somebody that you really like and you're like, hey, join my school community, like we can catch up every so like jump on a call whenever you can.
Mm.
it's a great way to stay in touch with people
I, I'm
too.
I'm joining after this.
Yeah, you should join. Yeah, for sure.
But does that count in your 20 hours a week, or is it separate?
No, that to me is like fun.
Okay, cool. How much you do for fun?
Why would I do it for fun? I think long term, obviously, like you see, like long term, you create a community. I think having 100 or 1,000 like true fans is more valuable than having like a whole bunch of followers. But more so, like for me, actually, the reason why I wanted to join it is to I've realized through this entrepreneur journey, like I love community. Like I love like meeting with people, talking with people,
Mm.
and I want more of that. And eventually, it'd be fun to like put on events and things like, excuse me, things like that with the right people.
Mm.
And the best time to start is now. Even if you start slow and small, like the best time to start is now, and just see what happens with it. But to me, it's just fun. It's just building my community, building my little tribe. Slow and steady. But if
I
it's the
like.
right people, like I'm all about it.
I really love that messaging, and I think it's so. Yeah, like I think especially with something like a community, it's like slow and steady. Like you want like the right people who like share like similar well, it doesn't actually have to be that. I'm actually going to play devil's advocate to myself.
Yeah,
I reckon it's good to have like contrast. Like you don't want all carbon like control C control V people, but like there will, I guess there will be like some shared values, right? Which is like probably like more on the entrepreneurial side, and like maybe like run a business or in kind of like a growth perspective. um what like just like apart from work, out of curiosity, what other stuff do you do? Do you still ski?
oh yeah, yeah. I love skiing. Yeah, I ski. I hang out with my dog, and my partner, and hike and get in the mountains and try cool restaurants and things like that.
Yeah. I really want to go skiing this year, but I'm just not. There's a few months. I need to see how it goes.
Do
Uh,
you did you grow up skiing?
no, so my story's a weird one. I
Yeah, let's hear it.
it's actually a bit of a wild one. I think I went skiing like I wouldn't even say it's skiing. I've got this memory of like going to the mountains with my parents when I was like 6. But my parents can't ski. No one in my family can ski. Basically, I just remember being in the snow and thinking, "Holy shit, this is cool."
Yeah.
But I never really had the opportunity to ski growing up. Now, at university, I was a part-time reservist for the forces,
No, awesome.
so like the Air Force, and because of that, and I really recommend anyone in the UK to like join University Air Squadron or the R or like I can't remember the other military version, UOTC. Sorry, I think that's what it's called. Um, but for those who don't know, sorry, it's like kind of like military club at university.
Oh, cool.
And so you're like a part-time reservist. And something that was really cool out of that is it got me onto this ski trip. And I learned to ski with the army basically. So
Oh,
day, like
badass.
the learning curve was incredible. And I learned a lot about myself because I remember day one, I think we were in France somewhere. And you can imagine you got like 5 like fairly big guys and we're all like Bambi on ice. We're like slipping and
Oh my gosh.
like the
I'm
great
imagining it.
1% gradient, and I'm like struggling to move. I'm like falling on my back, like oh my god. But by the end of day one, like we're going down like some basic green slopes and blue slopes, sorry, and you're thinking, oh my god, this is so fast. What the heck? But the crazy thing is, day three. I remember this day three. They took us down this slope. Like we get to the top of this, like it was windy and like foggy and crazy, and we get to the top, and you see literally like black, like the black slope, and it says "Do not pass." I don't know if the colors are the same in the States, but it's literally like the like extreme level. And
Yeah, yeah, the Black Diamond or
I'm
something.
like, what? Like we're all just looking at each other, like us 5, and we're like, we only put our skis on for the first time in our life 3 days ago, and now you're like go down this black slope. And like
Yeah,
the top of the black, I remember it literally like had like went back on itself.
like an overhang.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
was like,
god.
what the? We're just gonna die. And the guy
Oh, did you do it?
like, there are some moments in life where you have no choice, and we were like, I guess. So
Hell yeah, that's sick.
that was really cool. Like definitely one of those moments where like I was quite scared, but
Yeah,
from there got quite addicted. So I did that, and then the year after, I did another ski trip with the army. So that was crazy because by that, like once I finished that, in total, I had skied 11 days in my life,
Hmm.
and I could comfortably go down black slopes,
That's
and I could
awesome.
ski in off piste. Which,
That's so cool.
like, if you think about the learning curve of that,
That's
is
so fun.
wild.
Yeah.
It's really wild. And the year after that, I went skiing with my friend who's done a ski season every year since she was born, pretty much like since very young.
Yeah.
And I was skiing right alongside her, and she's like, "How much? How much?" And I'm like, "This is my 12th day skiing in my life."
Badass, man. Good
But
for you.
I think like part of it, but I think part of how I learned so quick, it wasn't just the arm because that was really good. Like you need that like coaching and the plan and
Yeah.
like their experience that you can lean on, and like the support. But I think it's also the having that mentality of just not being afraid.
Yeah.
And I think it's the exact same in business. Like there's lots of parallels which
I
I think are
agree.
pretty cool. There's you just can't really like sometimes you've just got to say, I'm just gonna go for this and like what's the worst that can happen? I mean in skiing I can break my back or like I could probably really hurt myself. And thank God I haven't. But in business, like I think sometimes yeah, you just really need to just send it off that back slope and just go for
I
it.
completely agree. Yeah. I actually think about skiing in business a lot, or skiing in life a lot. Like, see the parallels. I think if something's truly a principle,
Mm,
that means it'll be true across like all things. And I think sometimes you just need to send it. That's like a principle,
yeah.
whether you're skiing or in business or and also I would bet that the reason why after going down that really hard run that you felt more confident and you got better so fast is because you broke that barrier.
Mm.
You did something so hard so then everything else felt easier, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, it's literally like breaking that limiting belief of like,
Yeah.
okay, like I've done this and now I know I can do it again, even if it's hard. Like you just
Yeah.
have to do it once. And I think that's also why you have so many of these millionaires who have like, even billionaires, like they've gone bankrupt and then they get it all back again. And then
Yeah.
they go bankrupt again and they get it back again. And the reason they can is because they know they can. Whereas like
Yeah.
most of us, we can't. I think a lot of it's a common thing. It's like you don't. I think some like, and I've definitely been this in the past. You're like that kind of that could never be me.
Hmm.
Whereas if you've done it, you're like, well, there's irrefutable proof. I've done like a black slope before, so I can do it again, right?
Yeah.
It gets easier
Completely.
and easier. I think what is I like this phrase, which is confidence. Was like confidence comes from competence, um,
Hmm.
and you only get competence from reps.
Yeah. That's so true.
Um,
That's so true. You're never going to be confident sitting on the sideline in something ever.
no, I fully, I think that's wicked. I also find it interesting because I think because I used to do sports to a fairly good level, and
Hmm.
I see like a lot of athletes or like my friends who are or like were let's say more legitimate athletes than I was, um, just do really well in life because again I
Hmm.
think it's like those principles are the same of getting really good at something, um, and just like seeing it kind of like trail into other areas of like business.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I think I think about business as a sport in a lot of ways. Like it is a game and you have to figure out like how to play the game.
Mm.
But there's a lot of parallels between sports and business for sure.
But see, that's the cool thing though, because like, but now I'm thinking like, if you're only working like 20 hours a week, and because I wanted to touch on this before, I feel like the kind of the work you've got to do, you kind of like end up fitting it and squeezing into the time you have. Like, we've all crammed for those exams, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got to do this essay tomorrow, and you waited like 4 months and you did it in the last day. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
what if I did this before?
It's the same thing, man.
It's the
It's the
same
same thing.
thing.
I find I actually get more done in some ways.
Mm.
Like cuz you don't have time to mess around. Like every moment is more important, so you have to be really diligent with planning your time and, actually executing on the things that you plan.
I think what's actually quite cool though is because like if you like put that constraint of like 20 hours a week, then in those time all those hours off that like are now freed up for you. So if you, for instance, let's say you spend more time skiing, you can actually like digest and actually think and
Mhm.
strategize about okay, what is it exactly like, and like actually like learn from life, and then go back and like kind of apply those principles, which I guess gives you more leverage too.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, this is all a big experiment for me, but that's what I'm hoping. I think it'll actually be much better for the business to work less, which sounds so like counterintuitive, but I, rest and reflection and having time to digest things and to think
Yeah.
is so important. And if you're just like in the business, like working on these tasks all the time,
Hmm.
I think you just kind of get consumed by that, and it takes you out of the big picture, and it makes you less aware of the leverage or the opportunities right in front of you.
But see, what I don't understand though in your business though is because I fully get that when it comes to SaaS, but you
Yeah.
have a consulting arm of your business. So how does
What do you
that
mean?
work? Like, because how does that work in terms of like if you want to scale and get more
Yeah.
clients, surely you just like you don't really have a choice but to spend X amount of hours with those clients.
So it depends on how you set up the model, right?
How's your
So what I've
set up?
Yeah, so and traditionally with consultants, like you're doing one-on-one consulting, right?
Yeah.
And I've been doing that for the last several years. But what I'm starting to transition to is, so I set up like all this, the SaaS and all the systems and things like that. But then instead of doing one-on-one calls with all my clients, I'm starting to do group calls with my clients. And so then you leverage all of your time into, 2 sessions a week for all your clients to come out and ask questions.
And do
So you're
clients
creating
mind
leverage like
that?
that.
Do clients
What's that?
do clients mind that? Like, do you charge them less because of that?
No, no. But the thing about that is that you have to have the product better to be able to do that. Because if they don't have as many questions, like, and I'm still new to this, so I'm still figuring it out. So take everything with a grain of salt. But if they don't have as many questions, like the calls, like it's not like they need my one-on-one attention. And also, it comes back to the first principles thing. If something's true for one client, it's probably true for another client. So
Hmm.
if I tell them, hey, you need to follow up faster, like in this instance, like every client can benefit from hearing that.
Why don't you do your business that's like why don't you implement like your own business on yourself, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So in the past, actually, things have actually changed a lot in the last few weeks for me. But in the past, there was a lot of manual work that went into the setup and the management of the system.
Okay.
But I've actually kind of rebuilt the whole entire thing to, it was more work on the front end to get everything set up like that one time. But now every time I sign on a client, it'll be less work. So I have economies of scale now.
Hmm.
But in the past, like I seriously just couldn't handle more than X amount of clients because like if I wanted to retain the quality, um, yeah, or I'd have to hire people, which wasn't something like I was ready to do or wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the product has changed now. A lot better for the clients and better for me because it's less of a setup time.
And then in terms of like, can I ask that? So what is the setup time and like what is needed when a client onboards with you?
Yeah. So it depends on the client, like how fast communication goes back and forth. But like if we were less than a week now, yeah.
And like what actually is like in a granularity aspect, what's needed from the client in order to set up?
I just need them to answer some questions like about their business, answer some FAQs, and basically fill me in on like have an onboarding call where we dive into like their strategy, their sales process, figuring out like, what is the sales process, what are the qualification questions, what are you selling? How are we phrasing that? What's the offer? So there's the kind of like
Do you do
making
that
sure the offer and
yourself?
everything's good too.
Yeah. Do you do that yourself or do you have other people do that for you
So
now?
I have a partner that's, we're not like official partners, but we work together a lot with a lot of clients. But yeah, I do that myself too.
I need to think. Like, I actually think this could be like a good way to merge it somehow.
Oh yeah, man. And that's actually the partner I'm talking about. He is in the same kind of situation where he has clients and like we work together. I work with his clients. It's the same kind of relationship.
See, I don't mind, but I'm curious. Like, do his clients know that you're like a third party thing? Or
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Everything's super transparent, and we haven't had any issues with that at all. Just being super open, honest, upfront with everybody.
that's how we operate too.
Yeah,
I just like it's when like there's nothing to hide. Um,
and nobody cares. Like people are, oh, cool, nice. Like it doesn't matter.
mm.
And if they do care, like probably, I don't know. I wouldn't understand why they would. You
Yeah.
know,
Do you have like testimonials or like examples of what? So like, can you give me an example of like someone you work with and like how many meetings you book for them and stuff?
how many meetings we book? I mean,
Well, I don't know like some numbers.
yeah, I want to just get you deals closed. That seems more important. So this client, they've closed 103 clients since last October, and they're selling something 16,000 bucks. That's
What
pretty
can I ask what they're
cool.
selling?
Yeah, it's like their barber academy.
Okay.
And then here's another one.
We need to up our pricing. That's one thing that is wrong with us.
Yeah, the pricing is difficult. This client is closed 70K yearly recurring. Um, so far, she has a lot more in the pipeline. She has, if she closes some of these big deals, she's in an industry that has like really long sales processes. So there are some bigger deals that are like that could double or triple that, that are in the works too. But
And
yeah, there's some pretty good results.
yeah, and this is all from like email marketing.
No, no, no. So it's we don't do like cold. It's text, email, and voicemail drops, like for inbound leads.
What's a voicemail drop?
It shows up like in the prospect's voicemail, like, "Hey, just giving you a call. Like, just wanted to check in. Like, you filled out our form here. Like, give me a call
Really?
back when you're free." And it just drops right into the voicemail versus actually ringing, so you can automate like the call outs.
I didn't even know you could do that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then afterwards you can send them a text like, "Hey, I just gave you a call. I must have missed you,"
Do
like
you, do
something
you
like
work
that.
with UK clients?
So I haven't yet. There would be some restriction on. I'd have to look into
Because that's like
more
one of those
so
we
like
work with
how
UK clients.
the text would
Yeah,
work and things like that.
yeah. Actually, I think what I'll do is like after this, I'll go away and like I'll have a think. Might have some like more questions for you.
Yeah,
I actually think
and I'll
that
dive into it too. I'll look into it more. I have heard there's, I don't know. I'll dive into it more. I'll leave it at that.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't worked with a UK client yet.
yeah, no, yeah, because I think like Europe has like slightly different restrictions in terms of like
Yeah,
market, but fuck it, it could be quite cool.
yeah, it could be cool. And yeah, I also have some ideas, some other things too. But yeah, it could be fun.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. We've fully trailed off.
Totally trailed off. All
It's
good.
because you
We
were
got
talking
excited.
about that, and then I was like I just had like a mini light bulb idea. I was like, oh,
All good.
this could actually really work well together because like the
Yeah, man.
goal is the same, right?
It,
The goal is like,
this is actually. I think I told you my values. I mean, we'll just keep talking.
yeah,
But I think I told you my values last time for this year. It's leverage, value, and simplicity. And honestly, finding relationships like this, it kind of fits in that leverage box.
yeah,
Like, how can you have one client that turns into X amount of clients? And I think it fits in for you in like the leverage world too,
yeah, 100%.
because yeah, how can you deliver a better product for your clients without, you know, having to do necessarily more work, you know?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like we can just like we probably like figure out a price where like we can charge a bit of spread, and be transparent with you, but then
Yeah, for sure.
we get like a bit of extra revenue. We know the product's good. The outcome is good for the client. It helps us differentiate our offer further. We can like hopefully close more deals with a bigger ticket value, and then you get
Hmm.
more clients, and then it's like another win-win-win scenario, which is like
Yeah, for sure.
which would be really cool.
Yeah, man.
Um, I think that's wicked. I really like optimizing business for like high leverage.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way. Was Arlen's talking about like ninjapreneur at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. I saw
I
that. That's
actually think
cool.
it's cool. Like I think it's like a good
Yeah.
approach because it's like how you've got to be agile and fast, but then yeah, I think like there is like a beauty in being lean. Actually, I think.
I think so too. I mean, you see what Sam Ovens is talking about when they were running, consulting.com, how they fired everybody and they got it down lean. They actually made profit higher, and even if revenue was lower.
Oh, yeah. See,
But I think
I didn't know that.
there's with having it lean, like you have the speed, which is, I mean, I've never had a big team or anything like that,
Yeah,
so I can't really speak on that too much. I'm imagining there's a lot of really cool things about that as well. But
our team's never been like super big on the SEO side. it has been like more puffy, let's say. Um, but like that's due to a number of factors. So now we're actually looking like a whole restructuring of both our businesses and like not even necessarily leaning down, but just more like doubling down on the client's growth aspect of it because
Hmm.
we've got all these leads. We've like built our own demand gen. It's like let's close some of these deals.
Yeah,
And
you should do this for your own business first.
yeah,
Like just do an appointment setting.
that's the thing. Cool. So I feel like this like through my train of thoughts.
Oh, you're good, dude. I saw it happen too. I was like, oh, he got a thought. We're going.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I know. Oh, geez, that's business.
I love it.
That's business.
No, dude. To be honest, man, this is it. Like I'm all cool with like all of it. I'm just here for it. Like this is fun.
Yeah,
So
just send it down.
that's cool. Yeah, just send it. Tell me about your process. So you do one call a month?
What for our clients?
Yeah, for your clients?
No, so ours is much more hands-on at the start because
Yeah.
here's the thing with us, like we target, we really serve businesses that we like to call ordinary businesses because we
Hmm.
actually think that that's like an undersaturated market and the market that's kind of been missed out. Like it's so like popular to be like, oh, I want to be like the marketing guy, like help like these sexy SaaS businesses grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what about that like SME business, right? That similar to
Hmm.
you in size, like $1 to $4 million, let's say, that has been around for like 20 years. So
Hmm.
they've got like a really good product because they've been around for so long, and most businesses fail within the first few years, like fact. Um, but now it's like, how do you really like dominate in like a digital space and like position yourself as a thought leader and like grow? I thought like a really cool example of this. Obviously, we didn't do it, but you know, like Stanley. Have you seen?
Yeah, like the mugs?
Yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're not a mugs company. They're like a hardware like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like they're
Stanley
a
good. Yeah.
construction company that have gone around for
Yeah.
150 years. They had like someone in or like come in with like a marketing like aspect, and now they've like grown their revenue like or like their profit. I don't know if it was profit or revenue, but like 10x from like.
It's crazy.
And they've been around for 150 years. Like think about that, like steady, 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 boom. And that's because like they found like the right like it just like knocked into place. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what we want to do for these businesses because some of them have such great products or such great services and they've got the like years of experience, but they don't know how to market themselves. Like either they're like it's a lack of either kind of it's a lack of experience. Often it's actually a lack of confidence too, in terms of like oh I don't know how to post on LinkedIn. Like I'm going to look like a fool kind of thing. And we just like look, don't worry, we'll just do it for you. Um, and so really like that's our sweet spot in helping them grow. And because of that, sorry to go back to your question, because of that, it's not like you're working with the SaaS founder who is like, yeah, just effort, just like grow, like just pure leverage. A lot of these
Hmm.
people are like older, so they might be like 40, 50, 60, 70. They're more
Yeah.
stuck in their ways. And so it is more hands on from us, where it's
Yeah.
like we need to like kind of change their mentality and like kind of show and like walk them through the process. Like I'll be honest, like some of these people, they're still like getting used to Zoom, and you're like,
Yeah.
come on,
No,
you
I
know.
know.
So it's a very different approach, and because of that, we have much more touch points, at least at the start.
Yeah.
But then it like trails off. It really varies like client to client, in all honesty.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of I've worked with a lot of people like that too, and I still work with companies like that where you know, and I love working with companies like that because you get to show them this whole new world of things
I think
that they have no idea about.
I think it's really cool, and I, that I just feel like it's kind of like been a bit like forgotten or left out in a sense, and it's a shame
Hmm.
because like they're legit businesses, they're good, um,
Yeah.
and like we can help them, and like that's what we're positioned to like. That's our focus. It's like boring, ordinary SME businesses. Um,
Yeah. And if you guys have the systems down to deliver that stuff, like that is such a valuable offer and thing that you can offer to businesses
so that's
and help them
we've
with.
been like, and we're literally like we're like tweaking stages now. For us, it's been like implementing it during our own businesses and like getting more testimonials, which we're getting and we're growing. because we only launched the software like halfway through last year. Um, and now it's like, okay, we're now getting like a crazy amount of leads as well, purely organically. Um, so let's like start selling.
Yeah.
And now that's so like there's kind of like two business heads. So I'm like in charge of the business development and the sales aspect or frontier. And then David Ellis is the founder. He's like just going to be focused on doubling down on the delivery, the service delivery, and our product and the actual marketing too.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if it's like it's both, it's that division of labor, right? It's like how do we get max leverage? Let's both lean into what we're really good at. And for him, it's the like service delivery because he's got the years and years of experience. I'm still quite young,
Yeah.
and for me, it's like I'm enthusiastic. I know this is a really good product, and I'm good at sales. So let me double down on that.
That makes perfect sense. Sounds like a good team.
I think yeah, it is, and we've got a really killer team and talent because we have higher prices, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm quite excited for this year. Might come to Colorado. We'll celebrate on the ski slopes.
Yeah, let's do it, man. That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
I'm,
What do you guys charge, if you don't mind me asking? Is it like custom or is it-
it's custom. Um, we charge so lowest end. So we do similar. So we do like a kind of we have to build everything for them first. And what's quite
Mhm.
nice is like we're building them an asset which then they can like keep forever. So the thing with normal marketing agencies, it's like you're renting their services. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, like as long as I pay for this SEO per
Yeah, it's like a month. That's kind of how I'm doing it, a monthly retainer type thing.
so that works, but in terms of like, and this would help your conversion rate, but it sounds like yours is good with referrals. Um, because we're like building them an asset, so we're setting up like this demand generating machine. We optimize their CRM. So I didn't even talk about the CRM aspect. We set up like a modern CRM, optimize that
Mhm.
fully, connect everything up, get Google ads running, get them profitable, build like a LinkedIn kind of machine for them, place an SDR
Mhm.
on their LinkedIn for them. Like literally are building them an asset. Um, that then like sorry my point is that then they don't have to keep us longer term, so cheapest that we do this for is 15,000 like $20,000, and that's for the
Mhm.
first about 3 months total, so not monthly,
Okay.
which I think is on the cheaper side to be honest in terms of the value stack.
So you do that, and then 3 months go by, like the project, like the deliverables are done,
Yeah,
and then you guys just kind of like
no then it's
are
the
out of the
option.
picture. They
So
can
then
hire
it's
you
the
again.
options, so then the options are revenue share of new revenue we
Okay.
generate, which we want because we get more leverage,
Yeah, that makes sense.
or we do like a monthly retainer
Okay, I got you.
because some
That makes sense.
yeah, some people don't want the rev share. For us, we want that because we're like, well, we built a sick system and we want to like reap the
Yeah.
rewards. But not everyone.
What if a client says they don't want to do either?
Well, not what, and they don't want to move forwards.
Well, they love the system, but they don't want to do rev share. They don't want to do. Uh, I guess you're like, do you let them keep the CRM and things like that?
Oh yeah, like all of that's set up. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
but that was my whole point. Is they're not renting stuff off us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've kind of set everything up from a like growth perspective for them. We've like optimized all their LinkedIn profiles. We've given them loads of content. We've started posting stuff for them,
Hmm.
and then yeah, they can have it. Like it's theirs.
That's cool. So then the thing that they're like for the rev share or things like that, that would be to continue to create content, to continue to build systems and
Yeah,
manage the whole
exactly.
system.
So basically, that's like they get the fractional growth team because we still have the consulting aspect. So ongoing consultation. We do like sales calls reviews, and so in that aspect, we like start as we like help them scale. We help them with like the percentage close rate they have. We might
Hmm.
even place like sales closers with them who are like trained on their service or like on what they do, and it's all just about scaling. So like continuing to work on the like content for their LinkedIn, growing their LinkedIn, continuing to scale up the Google ads, maybe run SEO for them. Maybe if we use your software, like scaling that up further. And then yeah, like all the reporting and data management. So they basically get like a kind of yeah, like it's the management and scale up of the machine.
Yeah,
on like a
that makes perfect sense. I've actually been thinking about. I saw one of your LinkedIn posts. I think it was like the other day about this topic, and it got. And I've also been thinking about like how charging and pricing and like how do I change my pricing. But I like the idea of just charging a bigger fee right up front and then figuring out a way on the back end to
the
do
reason
to
why
figure it
it's
out.
so good is because you liquidate your costs of acquisition ASAP.
Yeah,
So especially if you're running any paid ads, which we do some but not much at all, starting what we started recently, um, is like you are literally like then paid to have acquired that client because they've given
yeah,
you the cash up front. And as long as that's like done in the spread, we actually give like quite a good, we give a 20% price discount if they pay up front. And some people do. And then like in month one, it's like they've paid for their self. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And so that money can straight away be reinvested into the business, either on product or on actually like acquiring another client.
yeah.
And so when it's
That makes perfect sense.
scaling, it's like a really good way to scale.
Yeah,
So maybe you could do
that's
like
interesting.
instead of like 1 month or like 1 week, you could pitch it as like three, four, like we'll do like an infrastructure. You could call it like the same shit as mine. I don't really care. You could call it like AI built, like AI appointment setting infrastructure build. It takes
Hmm.
3 or 4 months. These are the deliverables where we like consult, we set everything up. You have like these calls and you just price that in. So you're like, well, this is for 4 months of work instead of 1 month, and we charge up front.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You can,
That's got me
yeah,
thinking
you can always
about what to do.
test. You can
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot
because
because I feel like the clients that I have that need the most help the first 90 days.
yeah,
After that, like it's kind of they don't need as much help.
but that's so you can call it like 90
Yeah,
days boot camp or whatever you want to call it.
yeah, yeah,
But like it's
yeah. That's
really good
cool.
if you like charge up front.
Yeah,
I'd recommend that.
I was also debating about because of the software aspect of it, there would have to be some sort of fee with that regardless. But it could be. I was also thinking like, should I just start charging for the year, like year pricing? I don't know. That's something
Yeah,
I was just
we do
thinking about.
year. So with SEO, we'd sometimes charge yearly because people say like,
Yeah,
oh look, we want like a year long thing. So like,
yeah.
okay, like well, you can pay up front for the year if you want. We'll give you a big discount, or you can pay monthly.
No, I like what you said though. That's interesting. The tricky part for me would be
Can I? Can I?
the back end of
Yeah,
profit share and the
yeah.
or the retain. I guess it's not really tricky, but I would prefer profit share though, for
Wow,
sure.
you could do that.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I want to.
Yeah. What I'm quite interested. And we can cut this out if you want. What is the like
Yeah,
cost of the software for a client for a year?
for a year.
Yeah.
So it's more like I pay all like the fees myself. Like, and the cost doesn't change depending on like how many clients I have.
Okay, fine. That makes
So
sense.
yeah,
That makes sense. But are you talking
yeah,
like thousands and tens of thousands, or is it like
yeah.
okay, so
It's over 10. It's over 10,000.
okay, fine. So it's quite a lot. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know what the best way to go about it was because what I was going to suggest is like what you could do is say, look, in 90 days, I built like this could actually be a good offer. You do something along the lines of within 90 days, I build you an AI appointment setting framework and like infrastructure. I set it up for you. And then for the next year, you won't have consulting calls with me, but you will have like appointments being set continually.
yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, like a yearly price, but they're paying for that first initial thing and maybe a second price the next year. I don't know.
Like,
The pricing is fine right now with like how I have it,
yeah,
but I like the idea of getting more cash up front.
it's really helpful because cash today is much
Yeah,
better than cash tomorrow.
yeah,
Nick,
yeah,
I guess my point is that like what you could potentially do is like like you can just try it here and there, but like maybe charge like a bigger fee up front
yeah,
and then be like, but you get this for a year.
yeah. That'd be cool.
I don't
I was actually thinking about that the other day. I put a product like that into my Stripe account, just so like if I'm on the phone with somebody, if I decide, hey, let's do it, let's send it
There you
for
go. Yeah,
Like,
I like that.
yeah,
Uh,
because right now, like the product value, it depends on the client, but typically like 30 to 40 to $50,000 like a year. But it's like I could just charge that up front, or like in payments of 4 or something like that.
can you track the meetings that are closed through clients?
Yeah, like how many yeah, for sure.
So like, what about revenue share?
Yeah, that's something I would love to do. It just have to be with
So
the right client.
so for example, what you do is you say, look, $5,000, or like for something quite cheap, right? You say like $5,000. I'll set up all of this, and then first 90 days, you like over deliver value. We don't charge anything for the appointments you set in the first 90 days. From 90 days on till a year, like you make it a year long contract, we don't charge a monthly retainer. We charge revenue share of the people that you close because we're so convinced that you'll close.
That's good. I like that. And a certain prospect, like I can think of some in mind right now, or people that I've worked with, or even clients that would prefer that because they don't like the idea of big retainers. They would rather just pay for appointments.
Yeah,
But from
exactly.
my perspective, it would be easier, especially because the AI actually is doing the appointment setting.
Yeah,
So I'm not relying on the prospects to do it
but
or
because
the
that's the
clients to
thing.
do it.
Because then like you get, and also the thing is, if you like have someone who's like got a bigger ticket, and let's say you book them, like let's, because then you're basically, you could potentially collect cash over the like next 9 months. That's like could be very significant. Like for example, this deal, like they don't really care. Like if they like if they have like a profit margin of like 50, 60%, or let's say 70, because a lot of businesses do. You say like, look, your cost of acquisition is basically like liquidated there. Um, I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I actually I've been thinking about this a lot lately because trying to get to that 80K a month, like it'd be a lot easier if I just had, X amount of businesses doing profit share. Probably be a lot simpler to get there, you know?
But like, do try revenue share, not profit share.
Yeah, that's what I meant, revenue share. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Not profit share.
No, you don't want profit share.
I would never want to do
Yeah,
that.
you.
Honestly, I would be down even for just like cost per book appointment too.
Yeah,
Like the booked appointment costs you X amount.
yeah. Because
That's
like,
it.
actually, my friend has a business in it's in Dubai. It's for like financial advisors, and they charge, so they book financial advisor appointments, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think they charge that out at like $300 a meeting, 300
Hmm.
pounds a meeting. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that's like, and I think it's like semi-manual. I don't think it's as slick as yours because it sounds like it's a much more manual process they have.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a good amount. But if you're selling something high ticket like financial services, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I don't know. Bit of food for thought for you.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate
You
it.
can think about it on the slopes. I'm just aware of time, and I've actually got quite a bit of shit to do this evening. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
it
No, I know it's late there
was
too.
really
So
cool. I thought this.
yeah, this has been a lot of fun, man. I'm excited to build the connection with you and
Yeah,
to
me
get to know
too.
you better.
We
And
might have even.
let's keep in touch.
Yeah, I'm going to join the school thing now. Let me have a think about what we can do with like a potential partnership.
Yeah,
I'm going to connect you with the founder because he'd have to be
sure.
involved in this too. Um, but I think that could be a wicked offering.
Yeah, I think so too. And no stress on it. If it works out, it's awesome.
Yeah,
If you guys decide it doesn't work out, that's cool
yeah.
too. But
And
either way, I'm excited
let me
to.
know what you do with the pricing too, because I'd be quite interested to hear what you
Yeah, yeah. I think you're onto something with a bigger ticket up front for a smaller amount of time, and then figure out a different pricing after that.
try it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna be thinking about it
Yeah,
for sure.
what I'll by the way, what I'll do with this is like I'll send you like a link, and then you should be able to edit it and like crop it if you want.
Okay.
Um, I'll go through and I'll crop some things. And obviously I'll tag you on LinkedIn and stuff. I'll post the full thing some. I'll crop that middle bit, but I'll post the
Cool.
full thing somewhere.
Heck yeah, man.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on, and
Likewise, I'm really glad.
excited to be connecting. So it was awesome.
Yeah. Have a lovely evening, and we'll speak soon.
All right, sounds good, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care.